Once you get logged in, you can create stuff, and the way you code with Scratch is you have a picture called a sprite, and so this is the kitty here, and then you drag blocks of code into this big window, and then it gets the kitty to interact and move around and stuff. So the first thing all code should have is under the yellow events bubble, and it's this button called when clicked. And that will, because we want to click this green flag to make him do whatever we want to do. So for this kitty, to get him to do something simple, maybe I'll get him to move 10. Then I'll get him to turn. Okay. Then I'll get him to move 10 and turn. I don't know, it'll be something silly. Let's look. There. It does it so fast that we don't even really notice what he did. He moved 10 steps along the screen, then turned 15. If I run it again, he'll just keep doing it. Eventually, he'll probably end up back to where he started. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So you can get him to say stuff. You can get him to say hello for 2 seconds. You can get him to switch his costumes. If I go to costumes here, you can see that this guy has 2. So you can actually make him look like he's running if you want. Oh, that was loud. The way you make him look like he's running is you go to control and you put this forever thing in here, and any code you do in there, it'll just make him do it forever. And then you can go something like next costume. We'll get into more of that way later, but now he says hello for 2 seconds and then he runs as fast as he can. See that? I could even turn him inside of that little forever loop, and he'll spin really fast. Watch. Maybe I'll do less than 15 degrees. He'll say hello for 2 seconds, and then he'll just spin. Kind of like he's dancing. See that? So you can do a lot of stuff there. The one thing I want to show you though is how to get him to ask you for a number and for you to control that number. So I'm going to get him to say hello, and then I'm going to get him to ask a question, and that is under the light blue, under sensing. You can see that. Under sensing there, and it's right here. Okay. The default question is, what's your name? So he says hello for 2 seconds. Then he says, what's your name? And if I type something in there, really hard to see, but I'm typing stuff in there. If I press enter, he'll be able to keep track of what I typed in there. That's important, okay? It's kept track in this thing called answer. You see it there? So he kept track of what I typed. Let's get him to say, what's your name? I'll say Dave. My neighbor's name. He is keeping track of Dave. Okay, so I can go and use that and get him to say, like, hello, Dave. Watch this. I will get him to say hello to whatever name they type. So I'm going to say hello. And I want to join that with my answer. So I'm going to go to the green one. And I will click this join command. And I'm just going to write hello, like that. I'll put a space. And then I want him to say Dave, right? So I could type Dave here. But this program's only going to work if I type in Dave, and it won't work for any other name. So if I type in Dave, like that, he says hello Dave, works great. Now if I run it, and I type in the name Shabana, he still says hello Dave, okay?
That's just my first.
Now, if I want him to say whatever I type, I can go to this little answer bubble here and drag it there. Okay? Now, whatever I type, he stores it in his mind, in his memory. So if I type Shabana here, okay, he's going to say hello Shabana. He'll type in anything I say. He's smart. If I say hello Rory. You guys Gilmore Girls fans? What's the girl's name?
Yes.
There you go. My cousin went to go see the Gilmore Girls set this week, so she told me all about it. Yeah. So now whatever I type, he types it in, so that's awesome. Okay? If I type in George, George, he says hello, George. So that's something called a variable encoding, where you keep track of it in the memory of the computer. Okay, now here's where it gets a little bit extra hard, okay? Extra difficult, because if I want to ask a math question, I can do that. I can say, what is... you guys take grade 9 math where you learn, like, slope equals rise over run? Okay. So he's going to ask this question, what is the rise? And then he's going to ask a second question, what is the run? And then he's got to figure out the slope. What is the run? Okay? Here's the problem, though. Let's look. Let's keep our answer on the screen. Now, we haven't said anything yet, but we'll say the slope is... And then we got to just do answer over answer. That's not really going to work. Here's how you do divide, by the way. We go answer divided by answer, but here's the problem. Okay, let's keep track of it on our screen here. Let's get him to ask. So, he says hello. He says, what is the rise? And I'm going to say 8. And what is the run? See how answer is 8 right there? What is the run? I'll say 2. But he says the slope is 1. Okay? The reason he does that is because as soon as I type in the rise, what is the rise? I type 8, so it's 8 now, but then he asks for another answer. If I type in like 5, it overwrites the 8, and now he doesn't have any information about the first number. Okay? So he can't go answer divided by answer, because answer is 5. So he's always going to spit out an answer of 1, and no matter what I type. So I need a way for him to hold two different things separately. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to make my own 2 under this orange variables. Okay? And I'm going to make a variable here. So I'll call my first one rise. Great. I'll make a variable and I'll call my second one run. So now I have my own 2 that I've made. And after I ask the guy or the cat what the rise is, I am going to set rise to answer. And then after I ask what is the run, I am going to set run to answer. So now they're both saved. Let's check and make sure that they're saved in our computer now. So originally I wanted to do 8 and 2. 8 is my rise. Great, it's now saved. And when I press 2 for my run, now they're both saved separately, and now I can use them in a math equation. I don't have to worry that 8 got overwritten by 2. So that is the basis of programming in a nutshell. Your job is always to ask someone something or get someone to type something in for you, whether that be through keyboard, mouse, or joystick. And then you crunch those numbers. So in this case, it's as simple as just asking them for 2 numbers. You store that info inside of the computer in the memory called the RAM. And then you output something. You do some sort of equation. You print graphics on the screen. Whatever you got to do, whatever the program's job is to do. This one is simple. Its job is just to compute the 2 numbers, divide them by each other. But let's see if it works now. So 8 and 2 should have a slope of 4, right? So if I type in 8 and I type in 2, the slope is 4. That works. Okay, so that will be the last question on Scratch Lab 1 today. It asks you to do something very similar. Ask for 3 numbers, outputs what they add up to. Here's another one. It asks for the 4 marks and displays the average. And then the last one asks for a length and width of a triangle and wants you to print out the area. So work on that today. I'll post this little video on YouTube so you'll have it.